how demoralizing was it to how demoralizing was this loss, because you were on top at the end of the first day. So where would you say that you lost this? Where would you say that you lost this game?
Yeah, to be honest, I think we actually, at the end of the day, yeah, we were ahead, but it's not really where we wanted to be in the game. 220 on that wicket first innings isn't good enough, especially when you opt to bat first. You need a big first innings score. I know that we had them 40 for 4 or something like that. Obviously, that's a great start in our bowling innings, but that's the second innings. We did let ourselves down in the first innings. That was that was the point in the game where we let ourselves down the most.
Faizan?
Quinton, you still had a chance when Pakistan in first inning were 27-4. But do you think you could have done better with the ball as well? Your spinners could have done better?
If there is, I'd like to know what we didn't do right. Because I think they bowled really well. If I remember, they weren't going at a big run rate for most of their time in the innings until the later part of their second innings. They caught up. That's what I remember. So I think our bowlers bowled really well, and we kept the pressure on them. It's just if I would just kept batting and just kept holding the pressure, that was. It's just good batting, good solid test cricket in that situation of the game for them. It just needed. So that was, so well played to him, and I thought our guys bowled really well.
Stuart, followed by Ken.
Hi, Quinton. In 3 of the last 4 test innings by South Africa, there's been these really big batting collapses. I was wondering if you were able to explain why they were happening and how you could go about resolving them.
Stuart, trust me, if I knew, I would let you know. And if we knew how to fix them, we wouldn't be doing it in the first place. We have spoken about it. We are trying to find a way how to stop it. But unfortunately, it's, these collapses are not happening on purpose. So it's something we are trying to figure out ourselves. So yeah.
Kenny?
Hotline, Quinton, hi. You mentioned in the TV presentation the first innings and soft dismissals. Do you feel that maybe the guys are getting a bit stuck at the crease, can't rotate the strike, and then almost out of frustration, the big shot gets played?
I think the way the pitch is playing, especially the first inning, it felt like such a good wicket that you when you got a little bit bogged down, that you had to try and find a way to get scoring. But then we saw in there the way they batted, that wasn't the case. You had to stick in and dig deep. They didn't really go over the top a lot. When they did, it only did when they were in. So that was one learning we did take out. I mean, as you could see in our second innings batting, obviously in the third innings, the way Rassie and Aiden went about it, they scored runs, a similar sort of fashion. They took their time, kept the ball on the ground, soak up the pressure, and when the time came, they scored where they could. So that's what the learning we did take out of it. I think that's a big thing.
Up next is Fidos Talford and Aram.
Hi, Connie. Can I just ask about team selection? I know obviously Shama got injured just before play, but is there something else you would look at doing ahead of the next test in terms of maybe a seam bowling all-rounder or other combinations in the batting lineup?
For those, to be honest, the game's just finished, so I haven't really thought about it. Not yet.
Talford.
Quinton, it's been a really tough few years for South Africa in the subcontinent. I know the conditions are obviously very different from what you guys face at home and everywhere else, actually. But is it all down to the conditions, or is there some kind of mental problem with South Africa? And playing in the subcontinent?
I think I've seen what India's just done, but also it's slow going for both sides of the teams. We lost wasn't our best. I think that's where you're getting at. So yeah, we want to get better. Obviously, it was mistakes from a batting thing, so that's a good step going forward. So yeah, look, I know our record as subcontinent's never it's not the greatest. We have won a couple of series. I've been part of a couple. It's just a matter of finding that way to get through that.
Aram, followed by Shoaib.
I've already asked.
Okay. Apologies. Shoaib?
Yes. Hi, Captain. Pakistan beat you on the 4th day of the test. It means now Pakistan will not lose this series and you cannot win this series. Your players are surviving with injuries. Elgar have a hand injury and Tabriz is also not fit. So what do you think? Now South Africa is under more pressure for second test?
Like I said, our game's just finished. We've had other things on our mind. We haven't really got to thinking about that stuff yet, but try to just have a look at him. Looks like Shamo is getting fully fit again, and obviously Dean is still busy finding out. So I just want, even if they're not fit, we've got suitable replacements anyway.
And just to let everybody know, Dean does have a bruised left hand, but he is looking to be available for the second test match.
This is Mohammed.
Daniel, and then
Hi. How would you evaluate the differences in performance between Noman Ali and Yasir Shah and George Linder and Keshav Maharaj? Do you think the spin, the difference in quality was perhaps the difference, made the difference in the outcome at this test?
Sorry, Daniel, can you just repeat that, please? There was a bit of interruption from noise somewhere. Can you ask your question?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll go again. How do you evaluate the difference between the South African spinners and the Pakistani spinners? Do you think perhaps that's where the most telling difference was in this test that made the difference in the outcome as well?
Well, obviously, I think generally, I think it wasn't really the bowlers, it's just the batsmen that was just the difference at the end of it. The way they played the spins, the way we did in our first innings, and the later half of our second innings also. I think that was just the bigger things, not really our bowling. Like I said in my previous answers, the way they went about it, soaking up the pressure, and the way it's hard to go about batting in these situations. So it's just more about that. I wouldn't say really too much about the bowling.
No, Samuel, you've got the last question for Quinton.
Quinny, I just want to ask that you played for the first time here in Pakistan. Not a good start, obviously. So I just want to ask that where your confidence stands right now as far as playing spin bowling is concerned. Like if you see Yasir Shah and Noman, the way they dominated your batting line. So anything you want to mention here about playing spin?
I think to be honest, I think the first innings we actually gave them our wickets, to be honest. So I think we quite all right. Second innings, obviously, there was one or two good nuts, but that's part of the game. You're going to get one or two good nuts. So I'm sure we're still fine. Just going to go back, just prepare like we did, just come back mentally stronger.